coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Now we see the Earth. We've got it.
Wow.
Now we see the Earth.
Do we have a lot of key information to cover today? It is all off the charts right now.
We've got it.
And I'm going to do my best on this live Sunday edition. This is normally the day that you pay your income tax that we didn't get till 1913. Right out of the Communist Manifesto. Check it for yourself. It's one of the planks directly to the folks that wrote the Communist Manifesto, the private European money changer bankers who, on record, took over Europe with private central banks and fraud and fractional reserve banking and have now taken over our country in 1913, the same year, giving us the income tax to pay for the interest on creating dollars, Federal Reserve notes. That's what we're talking about. In fact, today, I'm going to be able here on air on the radio to talk about, and for people watching at Prisonplanet.tv, to show you a United States note. Later, I'll show you a close shot of this. This is U.S. note. Itself a fiat currency, but no debt is created. The government just issues it as a symbol of exchange. Instead of giving Goldman Sachs, one of the chief shareholders of the private Federal Reserve, and J.P. Morgan Chase, interest on being allowed to have money. It makes money the economy, money they control. You understand the level of that fraud? This is how they control the society. And they want to raise the income taxes right now with the Buffett rule on the middle class and nouveau riche wealthy, because the elite are exempt from all the major taxes and will transfer the money offshore in new banker bailouts. And we have an article up at Infowars.com. Red alert, Buffett rule is a criminal scam. New bank bailout to be funded with the new increase in taxes. That article is red linked up at Infowars.com. So that is some of what is coming up on the broadcast today. So red alert, Buffett rule is a criminal scam. That is up at Infowars, and it is so important to get out to everybody. And I will prove, when we go over the article, there it is, a new banker bailout to be funded by giant tax hikes. That's the headline at Infowars.com. At Prisonplanet.com, it has the headline from the video itself, Red Alert, Buffett Rule is a criminal scam. I knew I'd written both headlines, but I was getting confused reading this headline because it was from Prison Planet. Paul Watson took the headline that was from the YouTube and used that, whereas I wrote the other headline on Infowars.com myself. And I will document that coming up. How the Buffett rule could still be escaped by the highest earning householders. Of course, they wrote the legislation. Just like the insurance companies wrote Obamacare to make everybody buy their product and change what healthcare is, with the insurance companies and HMOs through federal computers tell doctors what they can do. It's a takeover of medicine, so it's eugenics-based, not Hippocratic Oath-based, do no harm-based. And it's about making you buy the product and social engineering all of society. Now, I talked about this earlier in the week, and it's in Forbes, and it's also in Fox and the LA Times. Oh, the IRS, you're not going anywhere. Domestic checkpoints, and how that ties into the control grid we've been talking about. We've got the war on women going into high gear with sniveling Bill Maher, the fascist, posing as a liberal. We have the feminists praising abortion and making jokes about dead babies. Very, very sick. We have massive massive news on the whole Secret Service situation and a new Taliban offensive in Afghanistan. I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food. Casting out coast to coast on the AM and FM dial. Simulcasting at Infowars.com on the audio and video streams at Prisonplanet.tv. Thank you so much for joining us for this live worldwide transmission of Infowars. I am your host, Alex Jones. Normally we'd be paying our income tax to the private Federal Reserve today, but there's a federal occupation holiday tomorrow, and so we'll be paying our taxes to the private run-for-profit Federal Reserve on Tuesday, and I'm going to be breaking down the difference between the Federal Reserve and Federal Express. No difference. They're both private. And dovetailing that with real U.S. money, like this $5 United States dollar bill, U.S. note, versus a Federal Reserve note. I'm going to explain to people how we've been under banker occupation for a long, long time, and they're now openly announcing a dictatorship over Europe. I'm going to show you those headlines. But first, let me just give you a smattering of what's in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stacks. Some of these stacks are 20 stories or more thick, okay? This is why I get so crazy by the time I get on air. It's out of frustration just ever attempting to even cover this. Activists plan week of protest against new House cybersecurity legislation. CISPA. And it is worse than the SOPA bill. It allows the Pentagon to shut down any website without a judge, jury. It is total surveillance over the entire web. They've got organizations out there like the Electronic Frontier Foundation and others explaining that it is worse than communist Chinese-style firewalls against free speech. And it is mind-blowing, but so is everything else that's happening in this country. Who would have ever believed that we've got socialist health care going in that thousands of White House contributors are exempt from, written by the insurance companies to rip people off, selling the dumb socialists that it's a free lunch. That is coming up. Who would have ever believed that cloned meat is already in the food supply? Who would have ever believed that in every major study, the GMO crops that grow their own pesticide in them are causing organ failure in every species they're fed to, including humans? Who would have believed we've gone from 1 in 25,000 people getting autism to now 1 in 50-something? Who would have believed pediatric cancers would be over 10,000% more common than they were in the 1950s? Look it up. All on purpose, all by design. I can't go to a restaurant now without, I mean, I was in a restaurant the other night, and there were 2 children in there, 2 separate tables in both of them. One was obviously autistic. The other had some type of chromosomal disorder, probably Downs. I was just everywhere I go. I mean, we are being absolutely soft-kill devastated right now. That's the #1 issue. I'm sorry. I was looking at this story. Well, I got a stack of them here where how the system's killing us. But let's look at how they're teaching us to love our deaths. I'm sure you've noticed on the newsstands or when you're even at the grocery store, because I know I've seen it over and over again, they'll have end caps. Meaning, basically, it's being given away. Whenever you see an end cap, it's being discounted to a retailer, generally. Saying, Life Without Humans, the audiobook, or The World After Humans. There's all these different TV shows, how great it'll be, how we're trash, how we're scum, hate ourselves, get into death, lay down, children are horrible, men are supposed to be weak, women are the boss. But if a woman actually tries to raise her children and be empowered, then she's trash. This war on women. Lazy scum women, like Bill Maher said a few nights ago that Mitt Romney's wife, I heard the clip today. It's all over the news. She never had to get up at 7 and go to a job and deal with a boss. No, she just had to feed, 5 boys and get them all dressed and do the homework and get them to the school and put up with problems and put up with the bullies I'm a parent, and my wife has a tougher job most days than I do, and I'm at work usually till 7 at night. I mean, I was home today trying to get them to finish their schoolwork and stuff for the end of the school year and dealing with cleaning the house and stuff. And I mean, you know, my kids are a little bit spoiled like most modern children, but they're good. And you know what? It's frustrating. It's easier to deal with adults all day than with children. I'll tell you right now. The idea, it's Miss Magazine, CIA, you didn't know the CIA funded Miss Magazine? It's on record, Gloria Steinem. They wanted all the women in the workforce to pay taxes to the private Federal Reserve, and so the state could raise children. If you want a career, great. If you don't want to have kids, fine. If you, whatever, just stop bashing families and stop saying it's bad. I mean, I've seen the stuff from the 60s and 70s on the news where they would go, women, you're pathetic if you're not working in a factory. You're pathetic. And then, of course, they still talk about wage disparities with women, even though they have 60+% of the college graduates now, and most of the new hiring being done is women executives. The corporate world actually likes women that'll commit and not have kids. But the women all, on average, huge numbers of them want to end up go and have kids, usually by the time they're 45, and it's too late because of all the sterilants and the rest of it. I mean, there's a whole phenomenon with that. Gloria Steinem, she sure has a man and got her kids. The point is, it's about the government re-engineering families. And it was done cold-bloodedly. Feminism on record. In fact, it's covered in the film Reflections and Warnings I produced with the late, great Aaron Russo. And it's free online. You can buy a DVD of it at Infowars.com. You want to support us and have it in higher quality. But the point is, it's free. Reflections and Warnings. You know, it's only got 4 or 5 million views online on YouTube. It should have 50 million. But the point is, I'm not being sarcastic. It should have 50 million, not just 3 or 4 million if you add them all together. And it goes through how the Rockefellers bragged to him, big film producer, how they've done this. But it's in books. Gloria Steinem admits it. Not to empower women, to wreck women, to take over society. The communists always try to get the kids out of the house. In China, they do this. This is the model of total control. That's why California is trying to pass a law against new single-parent homes, single-family homes. Germany's already passed a law. They want you in communal government spy grids. This is a scientific dictatorship. Now, look at the Daily Mail. And I'll put this photo, this article up on screen if you're watching on Prisonplanet.tv. If not, just search this or it's linked at Infowars.com. Got a quickie abortion? Comedian Sarah Silverman supports pro-choice debate, tweeting before and after abortion photos. Now, again, first they lied and said it wasn't a baby and told everybody it was, you know, a right and all this, or made it about rape or incest when nobody was ever trying to block that. And then look at her. She has her boyfriend doing it like they're happy. She's pregnant. They mock, you know, the couple saying, hey, we're pregnant, you know, that magic moment. They mock that. And then it shows her in a sexy photo in the same outfit, you know, the stomach small now. She killed the baby. It's exciting. And she makes jokes about it. It was a fake abortion. But the point is they put it out like it was real. They revel in it. Let me explain something. I keep telling you this. The Nazis on record, you have to understand, just type in photos of Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, at Klan rallies. Her letters are public where she said, I want to kill these subhuman blacks and others. How do we do it? We pose as liberals. We're going to get them, but we're going to get everybody. We're going to get the poor people, everybody. We've got to sell it as a right and a privilege and a wonderful thing. We've got to end the family as it's known. They were eugenicists. Scientific revolution. Look it up. Scientific dictatorship. Look it up. And this is the attitude. They get off on it. China sells as cosmetics the rendered lard or fat of babies into the finer cosmetics. Women have it injected into their lips, and it's all a joke. Every drama and sitcom I see denigrates children, denigrates men, wussifies men. There's Margaret Sanger, delivers burning speech, local KKK gals hang on every word. Let's continue here. Now on HBO, they're showing 6-year-olds, and children as young as 4 performing fellatio with simulated